One of the things that was in my mind too was I've seen reunions and reunion shows on TV and things like that. And sometimes you think that it's good, but you really don't know what you're gonna find. You don't know, okay, like right now I'm in my life and things are going good. Do I want to disrupt it with I don't know what I might find?
Who am I?
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 This is Who Am I, Really? A podcast about adoptees that have located and connected with their biological family members. I'm Damon Davis, and you're about to meet Donna. She contacted me from New Jersey. Donna grew up questioning the origins of her looks, and in college, the uniqueness of her appearance sparked curiosity. She spent years with no way to locate her birth family until DNA testing presented links to her maternal and paternal families simultaneously. While it was tough to find graves on her search, Donna takes fulfillment from the acceptance she's gained and the fostering she provides to children in her community. This is Donna's journey. Donna was born in Brooklyn, New York, but she was raised in New Jersey. She said she was always made to feel like family as an adoptee. Her adoptive father, a man of Caribbean descent from Anguilla, lived in an enclave of family homes where her grandparents, her uncles, and aunts all lived in proximity to each other. Donna was an only child for 5 years until her adoptive parents brought home her brother, their biological son.
I was excited to get a brother. I remember when he came home from the hospital and he was laying on my parents' bed and I'm sitting there looking at him and everything like that. Big sister, you want to hold your baby brother and things like that. So yeah, I was excited to have a sibling. And yeah, like I said, even after he came along, again, it wasn't by my parents or by my extended family, my cousins, because again, like I said, I had a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins that lived within a minute walking distance from where I lived. It wasn't like, oh, this is the child that they adopted and this is their other child. It was always, even to the fact where I remember one time I was having a conversation with one of my cousins. We were in church when we were young, and I was trying to explain to another kid who was there that I was adopted. And I was asking my cousin, that's right? She was kind of just like, yeah, well, she didn't even want to really talk about it. It was kind of just like, yeah, you're my cousin. I don't even know anything about that. Which didn't make me feel like she was dismissing the fact that I was adopted. To me, it was more like she was just saying, you're my cousin. You're just one of...
Full acceptance. Yeah. Did you know other adoptees growing up?
I did. So actually in my family, I had 2 cousins that were adopted. So my father's brother, they adopted 2 children. Yeah, I was just, they were just my cousins too. I was their cousin. I really don't know how they felt. When I started doing my search and things like that, I kind of talked to one of my cousins that was adopted. I asked her how she felt about things, but we were grown adults by then. But as a kid, it wasn't really something that I really talked about with her. Like I said, it wasn't really something that I thought about probably until I got into high school.
And what was it about high school that changed things for you, made you think about it a little bit more?
I think it was probably just wanting to, well, one of the things for me being adopted was like I never had the thought of why did my parents give me away. But one thought that I did have was having someone that looked like me. So although I grew up in a household, both my parents were African American, still just having someone that I could look at and say, oh, wow, I look like this person. That's something that always fascinated me. Like when I would look at other people, I would say, wow, you really look, I would always think about how the person always looked like their parent or looked like their sibling. And that was something that I didn't have. And so I started to think about that more and wanted to start to investigate that. So yeah, I guess it was first in high school, but in college was when I really started to get serious. Because in high school, I didn't start searching. I only started searching probably after college.
And I would imagine too that the mirroring that you were starting to contemplate was also triggering at home. You've got a brother who comes from your parents, and you could probably see, wow, in this way you were a lot like mom, and in this way you're a lot like dad. And so even if you wanted to escape it, it was right there at home too. It sounds like you love your brother, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you're not looking at the ways that you are different than him and that he is similar to them, right?
Yeah, that's true. Probably I never really thought of that, but yeah, I mean, I would say that my brother definitely looks like our father. So yeah, that probably.
In college, Donna met a whole host of new people, and with some regularity, they asked where she's from, not accepting that she is from the United States. They always wanted to place her biological roots in some far off place, and that made her curious about her roots. Donna had spoken with her adoptive mother about finding her biological roots, and she was supportive because her adoptive mother was curious too. In the early 1990s, Donna's mom gave her the name of her adoption agency, Spence Chapin, in Manhattan, New York. Donna reached out, and the agency provided some general information about her birth mother. She was born in the South, and she had a few siblings, but the information Donna received was non-identifying. Donna joined ALMA, the Adoptee Liberation Movement Association, adopting strategies they offered for locating biological relatives. One option was to go to the New York Library with her birth certificate to match her record with one of the birth record books on file. After a tedious search of tons of records, Donna finally found a match to the birth record number on her own birth certificate. In the records was the last name Thompson, her first clue.
It was something that confirmed it to me.
What was it like in this tedious research of scrolling through number after number after number to finally see your number?
It was crazy because, again, now that was the first piece of information that I kind of had some connection to my birth family. Although I didn't know really, like I said, what it meant, I had something. And I was like, okay, so this is it. This is kind of like the beginning.
This is the start. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, this is the beginning.
So what do you do next with this information? What has Alma coached you to do with the number and the information you find there?
Well, I don't think from that point on, it was a while until I really did something. I think in my search, I kind of started and then I would stop for a while. Because it was very hard because, again, like I said, there was no DNA and it was a closed adoption. So there was no getting information. When I went to the adoption agency initially, to give them my information, they said if the person is interested in meeting you or whatever, they would facilitate that connection. But that didn't happen. So I was on my own, really trying to find whatever information that I could. And when I got the last name, I was at a roadblock. There wasn't really a next step.
Donna sat with the information for over a decade, unsure what to do next with the information she had. She was working, went to grad school, got married, and was generally going on with life, but time was ticking by. The people listed in her non-identifying information were aging, and who knew if they would still be alive when Donna finally figured out how to find them. In the early 2000s, DNA testing became commercially available. Donna joined one of the platforms just to get some information, anything she could. The platform didn't facilitate matches, so Donna only learned that she had some Portuguese in her DNA. An interesting development, as one of her coworkers at the time was also of Portuguese descent. Years later, in 2017, Donna submitted DNA samples to 2 more online platforms that offered family matching, and each one matched her to a first cousin, one on her maternal side, the other on her paternal side. Donna reached out to one of the cousins with the message that she was adopted, and she was curious about their relation. Unexpectedly, the man responded promptly with his phone number. Donna was unsure what to expect, reaching out to a stranger who she was so closely related to.
I guess one of the things that was in my mind too was, I've seen reunions and reunion shows on TV and things like that. And sometimes I think that it's good, but you really don't know what you're gonna find. You don't know, okay, like right now I'm in my life and things are going good. Do I want to disrupt it with I don't know what I might find?
This could be
But
chaos. Yeah.
yes, but I called him and we talked, and he was very nice. And I told him, I said, I'm adopted. I don't really know how we're related or anything, but it shows that we're first cousins. And we kind of figured out by when he was born, his age and things like that, that we were most likely first cousins. But I said, I have this non-identifying information. That's really all that I have. I'll send it to you, and maybe you can figure out something else of how we're related or anything. So I think I either emailed it to him. It was like about a page and a half of information that the adoption agency had sent me. This was maybe Wednesday or something like that. I feel like either Thursday or Friday, he called me back and he's like, I know who your mother is, your brother, your father.
Dang.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it. I'm like, what? And I had never told him this because this wasn't on the non-identifying information. But the information that he told me was that this person, their maiden name was Thompson. So I knew that it was accurate.
So he closed the loop for you.
Years ago.
And when he came with that particular last name, you knew, oh, this is really legit. The connection with her first cousin happened in October 2018. By November, this maternal cousin had invited Donna to Thanksgiving dinner at his home. She said it was nerve-wracking to think about diving into meeting her maternal extended family, but she bought the plane ticket and went to get to know him and his family. That summer, Donna went to meet her maternal aunt. Donna's cousin had told his mother about his connection to his new cousin, so that summer, she traveled to South Carolina to meet her maternal aunt.
When I first walked in the door to my aunt's house, she was like, you look just like your mother.
Oh my gosh.
Again, I guess it was no denying that I was her daughter.
How did it make you feel to hear that?
Yeah, no, it was great. I was like, wow, really? So I wanted to see pictures and things like that. I don't think up until that point, I had seen any pictures or anything, of her or my brother or anything. And so when I went down to South Carolina, that was the first time because my aunt, she had a lot of pictures and things like that. So I was looking through pictures, taking pictures of other pictures and things like that. So it was, yeah. And when I saw her, I could see that the resemblance there.
So how did you end up meeting her?
So this was 2018 when I connected with my cousin. My biological mother, I believe she died in 2005. So I never met her.
I'm sorry to hear that. Wow.
And my biological brother, I think he had died in 1995.
Wow, really?
Yes, I didn't meet him either.
Oh, gosh. And it must have been so heartbreaking just thinking of the chronology of her having to lay her son to rest. What did you learn about the two of them from your cousins and your aunt?
I learned that my brother, he was an artist. They showed me some of his paintings and things like that. My mother, I guess I've learned different things even since from other relatives, that she was a kind person and really enjoyed being around her. I guess, they didn't specifically say she was like the fun aunt, but they did say that they really enjoyed spending time with her and that she was really a sweet person. When I found out that neither of them were alive, I really have wished that DNA had been available sooner, that I could have met them. But the way that the timeline worked out as far as DNA, so my brother he had long passed, like when I first kind of really started searching after college.
That's what I was thinking, is that he unfortunately was passing at the same time you were beginning to search for them.
Yeah.
And it goes back to something that you said as well, that as time was passing, you were also realizing that time is ticking by and you may be losing some connection to them, and you were absolutely right about that. So I'm sorry to hear that. That's tough. But let me ask you this. What kinds of things did they tell you about your brother, your birth mother, that maybe resonated with you? That you were like, oh, I'm kind of like that.
I guess not so much about my birth mother, but maybe my
Mhm.
brother in terms of the artist type of that artist component. Like I'm not a painter, but I do consider myself very creative. I'm a singer, I'm a writer.
Mm.
So that part, I feel like a connection there.
Yeah.
'Cause-
Expression comes out in different ways. Just because you're
yeah,
not doing the same medium
yeah,
doesn't mean that you didn't get that creativity potentially from her, right? And
mhm,
and the fact that you shared that is unique. That
yeah.
you're both of you having creative endeavors in your lives is significant.
And I've seen pictures of him also, and I see a resemblance
Mm.
too.
That's
So
really
that
cool.
was so that was another like wow.
DNA had connected Donna to a male first cousin on her maternal side. It turned out there was a female cousin on her paternal side on the other DNA platform. That first paternal connection's mother had two brothers, and Donna's DNA matched with one of the guy's daughters, but not closely enough to make Donna and that second woman a sibling match. So one of the brothers was ruled out as Donna's biological father, leaving the second brother.
I said, okay, is this daughter his biological daughter? And she said, yes. I said, okay, can you connect me to this person? Can I ask her to take a DNA test? Can I ask your mom to take a DNA test to see like if this person is, if your uncle is my biological father? Her mother agreed to take a test. This other person who was her uncle's daughter agreed to take a test. And long story short, it showed that her mom was my aunt and this other person was my sister. So that confirmed that her uncle was my biological father.
Wow.
Now, unfortunately, her uncle had died.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, her uncle, he died, I think, maybe like in 2006.
Oh, really? And did I hear you correctly that your biological mother died in 2005?
Yeah,
Wow. So near the same time as one another,
yeah, they died
but
near the beginning.
significantly earlier than when you actually found these connections. Wow.
Yeah. So my biological mother, my father, my brother, they had all died.
Mm,
But I found out that I had a sister that I didn't
yeah.
know.
And how was your connection to her?
Oh, it's great. So she lives in another state, but she lives close to me. I'm in Jersey. She lives in Connecticut.
Mm,
So she took the DNA test. So by that time, we're kind of like communicating like on social media, like through Facebook or whatever. The day that she gets the results for the DNA test, we're on the phone or whatever.
mm,
I mean, I had already knew because it showed up on my thing that she was my sister. I'm waiting for her to look at it or whatever.
yeah.
And we kind of together we kind of rejoice in that because she's an only child,
Wow.
so we can really excited and celebrate that we found each other
That's
on
incredible.
social media.
So you guys
But
have a good relationship?
oh yeah, so since then she has 5 kids. My husband and I, we don't have any kids and we don't have any nieces or nephews, so now we have like 5 nieces and nephews. Her kids have, we've obviously been to her house for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and her kids have spent weeks here at my house during the summer and stuff like that. So yeah, we have a good relationship.
That is really amazing. So you have found everyone through DNA exclusively, well, with the exception of the clues that you got at the library. And unfortunately, both biological parents had passed away.
Yeah.
One of the things that some folks like to do to get closure is to visit a grave, a memorial, or things like that. I'm curious, did you do anything like that with either of your biological family members?
No, I didn't. So that's a good question. I'm not even sure where my biological parents are buried. And let me back up, because when I connected with the first cousin that was on my biological father's side, I was seeing a lot of ancestry that was Caribbean ancestry. And so I knew that, again, was another clue that let me know that it wasn't on my mother's side, because there's no Caribbean ancestry on that side. They're from the South.
Okay.
And what I came to find out was, yes, there is a lot of Caribbean ancestry on my father's side, and my father was from Panama.
Really?
Yes.
And you were adopted into an Anguillan family.
Yes. So my father is from Anguilla. My mother is from the South. My biological father is from Panama, and my biological mother is from the South. So
Wow.
that was
Oh,
really
that's so
interesting.
interesting. That is
Mhm.
really cool.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
When people were looking at me, they were seeing some kind of Caribbean something. That was the connection that I discovered.
That is really cool. You
Yeah.
said that you and your husband don't have any children. Did you consider adoption at all yourself?
Yeah, we did. Let me back up too. My husband and I, we fostered for quite a few years, probably maybe like started like around 2014, 2015, maybe. We
Mhm.
fostered, probably had like 20 or so odd kids come through our house. And we did think about adoption at some point. I don't know. I guess we kind of went back and forth and it didn't happen. But yeah, we did think about it.
What has your experience been with fostering children? Tell me about how you're notified that a child is coming to your home. How do you treat them, receive them? I've not really spoken to anybody about the process of fostering. So tell me a little bit more about what the process is for you as a foster parent, and how long do these children typically stay with you, and how are they doing when they get to you?
Yeah, typically someone from here in Jersey, the agency is called DCP&P. They will call you up and say, we have a child, or a lot of times we also took in siblings, because a lot of times siblings are hard to place together, because people don't have the capacity, whether it's physical or emotional capacity, to take care of 3, 4, 5 kids at a time. But that was something that we did sometimes. So they would call you and say, we have this child. Are you willing to take them into your home? They might give you like a little bit of the background story. Sometimes they might not even necessarily know everything right at that moment about what's the issues going on with the child and the family. But then you let them know if you are open to taking the child or children in, and within short order, they're bringing the child or the children to your house.
Is this the same day?
It could be the same day. Usually some hours pass, because they have to have a medical examination before they come to your house. So yeah, it could be the same day, maybe the next day. They'll bring them over with whatever belongings that they have, and then you're off.
What is the what is the typical time frame that children will stay in your home until they're reunited with their family?
Yeah, we've had kids that stayed in our house for as short as a week or a couple weeks to over a year.
Wow.
Sometimes children can be placed in your house if another foster family might need some kind of what they call like respite. If they want to go on vacation or do
Mhm.
something, they'll place the child in your house temporarily. So we've had children placed in our house on that basis. But also, some kids have been in our house over a year. And the normal thing is for them to be reunited with their biological parents. That's usually the goal. And
Mhm.
so, however kind of long that takes for their parents to, resolve or make progress on whatever the issues are that they're dealing with, whenever that happens, then they're able to be reunited with their biological parent or parents. And there's visitation in between most of the times while they're at our home. They're having visitation with their biological families.
And I can't help thinking, when I was born, I was placed in foster care for a short period of time. I was an infant, but
Yeah, me
had I
too.
been placed in foster care as an older child, is what I'm trying to say, it's entirely likely that I might have remembered you as my foster mother and wondered where you are and how you're doing. And in this era of digital connectivity and social media, I could potentially try to find you, stay in touch. And I'm wondering about how much you stay in touch with or are able to follow up on the welfare of these kids, and do they ever reach out to you? I'm just kind of curious here in this digital age and the ability to find people so much more easily than ever before. Are you able to keep track or stay in touch with, or at least sort of monitor from a distance how kids are doing?
Yeah, so we've had kids from infant all the way up to teenagers in our
Hmm.
home. And I often wonder how the kids are doing. Some of the older kids, the ones that were teenagers when they were here, now they're in their 20s and things like that. I have had contact with those children. I've gotten in contact with them to see how they're doing. Younger children. So we had a sibling group of two kids, and I was pretty close with the mom and things like that. We would contact her Mother's Day, take her out with the kids and stuff like that. And when it was time for the kids to go back, I said we'd like to stay in contact with them, and she was open to it. But after they left, when I reached out, she didn't respond. I was completely fine with that, and I felt that was within her rights. Now she is trying to establish her life with her children and kind of move on, and maybe she wants to have this part of her life in the past and move on with her connection with her kids. And younger children, I wouldn't try to reach out to them if they were under 18, like without their parents' permission or anything like
Sure. Yeah.
that. The older ones, some of them I do still talk to.
Yeah, because I know a lot of adoptees have these questions about their transitions out of their first family into their adoptive family. And many people will tell you, I have no idea where I was. I have no idea where I was for 3 months of my life.
Me too.
I
Me
left
too.
this hospital in Baltimore, and then I ended up with my parents. No clue where I was. And it sounds
Yeah.
like you're saying you had the same absence of information. Since Donna's birth parents weren't alive when she found them, I wondered if she got much of the story around her conception and relinquishment. She said her non identifying information was limited, and now that she's connected with the families, there are probably people who hold those stories, but are not forthcoming with the tales of the past.
So yeah, I don't really know anything about their relationship or what happened. I only know kind of what was in the non-identifying information, which again wasn't really much. But I will say this too: the Thompson side of the family, they have family reunions every 2 years, and since 2019, I have been there in South Carolina or wherever it has been as a part of the family. And this year I was elected the secretary for the reunion.
Really?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. You are accepted and now deeply entrenched as a
Yeah,
responsible part of the reunion committee. That's really awesome.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you got those connections, Donna. It can be really fulfilling to be invited into extended family. I know that feeling as well. My birth father's side does reunions fairly frequently as well. And just even to receive the invite and to be able to go and see folks, and even though your biological parents aren't there, you can still see throughout the family other folks that you resemble, that feel connections to, and that can be really awesome. So I'm glad you get to experience that extended family part of reunion. That's really awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Actually, I think last weekend was the reunion that we had. It was in Clemson.
Just had a reunion.
Yeah, we just had a reunion.
Oh, that's really awesome. Well, good to hear. I'm so glad that you're getting that kind of connection to these folks, Donna. Thank you so much for coming here and telling your story. I really appreciate it. So all the best to you. Hey, it's me. Donna grew up wanting to see someone who looked like herself, but only got that validation once she found her extended biological family members. It was really cool to hear that DNA provided maternal and paternal links at the same time, but it was disappointing to hear that her birth mother, brother, and birth father had all passed away earlier. It was really nice to hear how Donna and her husband are fostering children in the community. Those children need a safe, loving place to go during a time of unrest or crisis in their young lives. And who better to care for them at such a critical time than an adoptee like Donna, who truly understands what they need. I'm Damon Davis, and I hope you found something in Donna's journey that inspired you, validates your feelings about wanting to search, or motivates you to have the strength along your journey to learn, who am I really?